Counsel for the second respondent, Mr. James Quarshie Idun, today continued his cross-examination of the star witness of the petitioners, Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia. He quizzed the witness on their alleged ballot stuffing in the 2012 polls and suggested to him that it was not possible due to the transparent nature of the ballot boxes. Dr. Bawumia, who disagreed, was also cross-examined on their alleged malpractices during the special voting for the security services and Ghanaian missions abroad.
Day 7 of the landmark election petition case began with counsel for the second respondent, the EC, Mr. James Quarshie Idun, suggesting to Dr. Bawumia that the allegation on the issue of overvoting in the elections was not made known to the chairman of the Electoral Commission, Dr. Farijan, in the presence of the Peace Council prior to the declaration of the election 2012 results. But Dr. Bawumia said Dr. Farijan made it known to them that their evidence was not enough to halt the declaration, hence the need for them to go back and gather all the evidence to file their petition. Mr. Idun then produced photocopies of stamping sheets and collation sheets to be tendered in as evidence, but Mr. Addison objected to this, saying that it amounted to ambush litigation. Presiding Judge Justice William Atuguba partially overruled that objection on the condition that the EC brings in original copies of those documents. Counsel for the first respondent, Mr. Tonilita, and counsel for the third respondent, Mr. Chachuchikata, however, did not raise any objection to the EC's documents. Mr. James Quarshie Idun also asked Dr. Bawumia questions relating to the petitioner's claim that some 3,196 persons with disability in some 3 regions were excluded from voting. But Dr. Bawumia explained that these persons were allowed to vote by the identification of their fingerprints and not through biometric verification. On the issue of special voting, Mr. Quarshie Idun suggested to Dr. Bawumia that at a particular polling station, 125 ballots were issued, while the number that were not used was 44, and those used were 81. This means that when these figures are added, it would sum up to the total number of ballots that were issued, indicating that there was no overvoting. But Dr. Bawumia was not in agreement.
Looking at the form, it is clear that the 81 that has been entered twice, one of them should be 0, because 81 plus 81 comes to 162, and only 106 were distributed. 81 were distributed to the polling station with 106 voters on the register.
That is not correct. The ballot accounting on section...
let me ask the questions and answer.
I'm just trying to answer why
so
it's not correct.
It says one is not correct.
I'm trying to tell you why that is not correct.
There are 2 81s. 81 as the number of ballots issued to voters on the register, and 81 as the number of ballots issued to voters verified by the use of Form 1C, but not by the use of BVD.
There are 2 different sets of information. On C3, it's the number of people who voted without going through biometric verification. That is there. On C1 is the number of ballots issued to people who were there to vote. So there are 2 different pieces of information. And if you are doing ballot accounting, actually, the ballots, you will not count those 2 together. That is what I'm saying. If you are doing ballot accounting, you will not count C1 and C3 together, because the people who were given ballots to vote and the people who were voting without verification are the same people. So if you double count, you would be wrong in this case.
After lunch break, Mr. Quarshie Idun challenged Dr. Bawumia on the alleged duplication of serial numbers and calls for the special voting that took place at the Court Hall polling station. Dr. Bawumia explained that it was because the Court Hall polling station alone had 3 pink sheets with the same code number. Justice William Atuguba adjourned hearing to Monday, 29th April 2013, after which counsel for the NPP and the NDC spoke to the media.